Hello and welcome to StreamTabulous. Today we're going to work on a photo which has over contrast, over brightness, faded with age, all those sorts of things can reduce to diminished features. In this case we can see, for example, the nose doesn't have a lot of shadow on it. It's very low on the features actually standing out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to show you how to adjust the image to get the best possible result. So we'll get on with the show, but first of all, welcome. Welcome back to StreamTabulous. So what we want to do is we want to find an app where we can adjust the brightness and the contrast of this image, and that will give us the best possible results for when we use one of the AI scripting tools, because what that does is it usually will read the pixels of an image and it will look for clusters of shadows, and then it will automatically sharpen and enhance and apply filters to fix the image. Some of them are probably using a database of noses and eyes to do a composite and actually, place a new eye over top, which is the same or very similar to the person. I've done that in PaintShop Pro, where I've used Google to find eyes or noses very similar to a person. And then I've taken that, I've composited onto the image, and then I've used the warp tool to actually move it to match the original, and then I'll erase and fan in to fix the actual image. So that's a little tip that you can use if you are using PaintShop Pro and you want to fix an image. You can use other people's body parts to mold it into shape to bring out those defined features of a person's face and bring it back to the original look. So we're just going to blur the screen there, and we're going to go into our first program. For me, I'm going to use Photor. Now, there are plenty of apps that do brightness and contrast, and that's all you need is an app that does brightness and contrast. I'm going to click Edit, and then I'm going to find that image and open it up. We have our image here. With Photor, it actually shows like pretty much the resolution. You notice it's like really tiny, so it won't allow it to enlarge and fill the screen, which a lot of apps do. So we can tell straight away that this is a low resolution image, which can affect the restoration of an image. So you may need to get a photo enlarger tool, which you can search the gallery for. So we'll just go into brightness and contrast here, and what we can do is we're going to bring that brightness down. If I bring it all the way down, we notice straight away that we can see these features. We can see the shadow lines that show the cheekbone. We can see the ridge line that defines the nose, so we can tell that it's not just tiny button nose with a low ridge line. We can actually see those features more, and that's what we want. So you can save an image this dark, and then you can restore it and color it and have a really dark image, and then at the end of it you can brighten it up. So that is not a problem, but I do find it is best to find the balance. So we will find that balance. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we can see all those lines and features. That's good. We can add a little bit of contrast if we want. I'm going to back it off a tiny bit. That's great. That's going to do me. And we're going to save that. And once that is saved, we're going to exit. And then we're going to open up our coloring tool, the ones that just do the one pass. You can go into the App Store and you can just type in colorize, and it will come up with lots of apps that do this. So for me, I'm going to open up Mint AI. I'm going to go down to where it says colorize at the bottom. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to find my image, and then we're going to open it. Okay, there's my image there. I'm going to click OK, and then it's going to go through and apply the filter. So Let's do the processing. So it's going to come up. There we go there. We can see the colorizing is done. So it's a little red around the nose and across the lip feature there, because basically what it's doing is it's just going through and it is applying, it's not monotone, it's not a one color skin. Instead what it's doing is it's using those pixels again and it's going, okay, I'm defining a ridgeline here of hair. I'll apply a white layer here, fanned into a skin layer. Same with the nose and that. It is smart enough with the script to see where shadows and highlights need to be applied. If you're using Paint Shop Pro, you would do a same thing. You would go through and you would do layers of different colors, a little brown, a little bit of white for the highlights, and bring them in. You can use a one-tone color. I've done it in the past when I first started. I'd do composites going onto Google, finding eyes that are similar to the person, noses similar to the person. I would composite that onto the image. I'd use the warp tool to bring it in so it matches the original. Then I would go through and I'd apply the skin tones, and when I was starting that was pretty monotone and it would often come out looking rather like a painting, and I got better as I went on. So that's some little tips there with compositing. Like, you can go to Google Images to find eyes to replace the originals and then have that as a layer, translucent, enough that you can see both layers, and then warp that layer of the composite eye in to rebuild an eye to get more details. So this will do. So we will save that image. We're happy. We'll exit this, and then we'll come over to a AI tool. I'm going to use Remini today, Remy, whatever they want to call it. Neurological dyslexia. I'll just go with me. We shall find the photo. Okay, that's the one there. Okay, opening the photo, I'm doing face enhance. I'll do environment. There is a bit of a background, but I'm going to probably erase that anyway. Face beautifier, I don't want color, I'll do that myself. I'm going to hit enhance. I'm going to blur the image because it does show some of my background images. It's going to go through and reconstruct our photo. Okay, there's our photo. So we can see here that's much better. So yeah, I would say that's probably a little bit of a composite, and then of course it looks like there's some just general sharpening, contrast adjustments, smoothing. It takes a long time to do this in Paint Shop Pro. It's nice to have apps that can speed it up and give you the power at home to actually do it on your phone or mobile device. So that's fantastic, and we will save that. Okay, downloaded. Okay, as a matter of finding the next tool that we want to open it up in. So let's have a look at this image. Let's see where that's saved. Saved in a directory called Pictures. Now we can see straight away it's enhanced some of that resolution, which is really good. So from here we can go into say Facetune 2, and we can adjust the eyes. This person had green eyes, blonde hair. She's done a great job on that blonde hair. We will do a little bit more on it. It's removed that redness, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so we will go into airbrush for me, and I will do some of that makeup quickly. So you can use, there are different makeup apps on there. Again, you can just do the Android store and put photo makeup or whatever, and do a search and find different ones. I've got the Mia Tube, that works. Airbrush works well. I think Airbrush, I can't remember if there's a full free version which is slightly limited, or if it's trial or if it's pay. If you've got airbrush and you know the answer to that, comment below. I've probably had it for about a year now. I think I brought it for $14, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to open up airbrush and I'm going to go through and use some of the tools in it. I do like airbrush. It's one of my go-tos because I like the way it does the contrasting, which is something I used to do Paint Shop Pro, where you'd go in and I'd usually use something like a burn layer and just like enhance the nose and the mouth and that. And this one uses masks and pretty much does it quickly. So let's have a look at those lips. We're going to remove, oh, there we go. Sorry about that. We've opened up our image in airbrush and we're just looking at the lips now, and it's got a bit of a gloss to it. I'm going to dull down that gloss. Now I apply and then I go back in and then I build up layers. So do that nose layer there. See, that pops out a lot more by doing that. Some more of that contrasting on that nose. I call it contour. So have a look at natural. Brings out those shadows under the eye there. That really helps. We'll apply that. As we got young. Not doing much today. Grace is doing the shadows on the outer side. So we'll apply that. That's fantastic. Come back in there. I actually like these faded eyebrows. I don't know if I really want to play with those too much. The darker doesn't look too bad, to be honest. So, do that, but I'll drop down how much I'm applying to it. Eyelashes. Eyelashes make the image. They bring it into the 21st century, so to speak. So, she's already got some. I'm going to try to match that look. Done. It's perfect. That just adds a bit more to it. Make up the eyeshadow. Eyeliner. Basic will help darken the top of the eye. If you're using Paint Shop Pro, you can just take a dark color, and I always work in layers. Just put darkness above the under the top eyelid, and then just sort of smudge that in a bit, and you get that sort of look there, which just makes the eyes really pop, male and female. Do it on both. Okay, so we are happy with that. So we're going to save this image, and then I'm just going to fix up that mark on that curtain by going into IBS Paint. So we have saved, we are exiting. This is a quick and easy one today. So we're going to go into IBS Paint, IBS Paint X. I can't remember if the free version is limited, and then there's a $14 version for AU, a lot cheaper your way. You're okay to see this gallery. So plus in the bottom corner, that's what we're clicking to add our image. So we want to click that, then we import, and then we find our image. Don't change any of the settings. The lines in the top corner for me on my phone, in the top left there, I'm going to click images, and then we're going to go into airbrush saves to the folder pictures. So we open that up, we open our image. There's our image there. Now we can come in and we can quickly fix this. We can do this in multiple ways. We can do selecting the color. In this case, we are just going to use smudge tool and change the opacity. We're just going to bring down and follow the lines. That's all we're going to do. And that will bring these colors together to remove the damage. So always follow lines. There we go. Perfect. Let's do that. Okay. That is that. Now, with airbrush, we can, I mean, there's lots of little tools in airbrush. We can go over here to the little layers where it's got the one there. And we can add a new layer by pressing the plus underneath the image. And we can change that to various things. So we can do a color burn if we want. And then we can adjust that layer down to a very, very light translucency. And then we can select on our brush and we can come up and we can pick a color. Actually, I'll pull one from the hair. Do that. And we can come through and we can just paint over top. Let me increase that. Okay. We can see that affecting the hair. And we can go through and we can change that to different weights. And then we can come through and we can have a look at our burn layer and we can have a look what works best. So we can go multiply and then have a look at multiply. And we can play with our image and actually find out what gives the best result on the image if we want to do manual coloring. So you can do that. You can do a darken. It's all different ones. Color burn. Okay. I think color burn is the one that brings out the details. They're named different under different apps. Bring that up. Linear, dodge. There's all sorts of, I mean, you can go through and you can play with this. You got overlayers, hard mix, saturation, hue, luminosity. And when they're dark like that, you can drag them back, so it's not really doing anything. So there's a hard mix. Don't know what that one is. We'll take a look at that. Okay. You have overlay, which is just basically a color overlay. Multiply. Darken there, so we've got darken tools. So all different things. So there's all sorts of things we can play with doing that. So we can come through and you can play with the image. And that goes for the skin as well. Like where you get that redness, you can, like sometimes you just pull it and then you can just color over top of it and adjust it to try to drown out some of that redness. Bring that up like that. So you can go through and you can pull colors from different areas and you can just play with that image until you find a color that you're actually happy with. So you can darken the skin up. There you go. It may look crazy, but once you go through and you do your adjustment of your translucency to it, you can actually come through and manually color the skin in and bring out some of those highlights and enhancements. And you can apply that over everything. So we can go over top of the eyebrows and it's just going to not make much of a difference. It's going to just bring out details. So you can manually color an image in this manner going through using layers, or adjust an image and get the colors that you actually want. So, okay. And when you come to the edges like this, you just go to something like a smudge tool and you bring it up and it's large, and then you just sort of tick it in. Just play with your image and pull those colors into place. Get that bit of a merger there. The eyes. So bring that in. And you'd color the whole image. Or you can fade it in, create shadows, you can do it with the whites, to the bridge of the nose and so forth. So you can do things like that. So it's quick and easy. I'm not doing that in this case, so I will remove that layer. There's a delete there. We're back to that, okay, because that's just showing you some of the tools and some of the things that we can actually do. Same coloring the eyes. We know this person's got green eyes. We can just create a layer, do it green, bring the opacity down of it so it's almost translucent, and bring it up until we're happy with the eyes. So we're going to go back to my gallery, export this as a JPEG. Exit that. Of course, I'm going into Facetune now. So Facetune. Find my image. It is not the first one. It is the fourth one across for me. So click that. We are open. So let's give these green eyes. So assume they weren't very dark, so probably like my eyes are hazel greeny blue, but we're going to go more green. And done. A little bit of whiteness around that outside just to make those eyes pop that little bit more. Okay, done. Now we'll address the hair. I'm going to give it some glow, so I'm going to do brown. See, it didn't get it all, so we'll go into the apply. We will brush manually in. Sometimes it's hard to see where it's actually colouring it in, so you need to like press eraser and then press brush again and just let it show the mask that we're creating over the hair. Okay. Adobe Photoshop is the best for those burn layers and doing the hair enhancements, and then Paint Shop Pro. IBS Paint, honestly, that is not the best burn layer I've seen. It's ironic, it was better in one of the older versions, so I don't know why that's changed as much as it has. So, sometimes it's about luck with an image, and we go through and we find those, I've mentioned it before, we Bob Ross it. It's the happy mistakes. We just play with the image until we're happy. If I could paint, I'd paint a portrait of you. There we go. So there's our mask. Done. Okay. Here's better before. There's our after, but we're not done. We want to go to glow and bring that glow up. And that is going to bring out all the details. That's what the burn layers do in Paint Shop Pro. They really make it pop. So, okay. So we'll apply that. Done, done, done. Let's take a look at this clothing here. We'll see if it gets a one shot on that masking. We've got some of the arm there that we don't want, so we'll just come through. Is that all the way up? Yep, that sleeve goes all the way up. Okay. Okay. So look, so brush, erase, brush, just a bit here, follow that in. Brush, erase. Now we've masked the clothing nicely. You've got all these funky little prints you can play with. I've shown that before. You can go through and import different things and change the clothing or whatever you want, which is pretty cool. I like it. I think that's neat. In this case, we're not going to do that. We're just going to stick. Later on in the tutorial, I'll show how to, a different tutorial, I'll show how to do composites where you can download like clothing off of like Google Images, and then you can just composite that on. Details. We will bring out some of the details on that. Saturation. Let's pull that back. Give a nice stark sort of adjustment. Let's play with it to where we're happy. There we go. That's kind of cool. I like that. Yeah. Now I just noticed, we come in here, it looks like that is meant to be skin. So we're going to come through and we're going to address that. But first of all, yeah, on the paintbrush, we want the eraser. Probably going to have to come into an app and actually paint in that skin tone to get that to where it needs to be. Okay. Much better. Actually, that actually works really well. It's nice. I like that. Done. Apply. Now we can take a look at that background if we want to. So let's save this image. And just take a quick look in Airbrush. I'm just going to take a look at the skin tone for the overall. It's saved, which is Facetune folder in this case. Yep, there we go, Facetune. Click the image, open the image. Can you find all the skin? Not all of it. Purple, which I like. So we're going to come in and we're going to brush. Okay. Just going to add some of that tan look. Come in with that arm. Brush that in. Sometimes it's very subtle. There we go. All the way down. Okay. Yeah, happy with that. Done. Save. Let's take a look at a background eraser. Again, you can go into your app store and just put background eraser and you'll probably find a whole heap of apps. I'm using Lumi, which is a little butterfly there, so we'll click that. Let's set up recent. We'll see if it is the most recent. It is. It is the first one there. We'll open it up, come across the bottom, BG, replace background. Let's see if this does any good today. Okay, it's erased some of that arm. So we'll come into brushes and we'll put that arm back. Had it right the first time. Okay, let's have a look. It's actually done a pretty good job there. We've got some hair missing just here, so we'll just come up. Come into the eraser. I love the fact that this has the size adjustment on it. Not all apps give you the ability to adjust the size. Okay. Lost a tiny little bit of hair up the top here. Let's have a look. Brush that in. A little bit more. Not perfect. The fact that they can define the outline of an image so well and actually work to this degree, it's easier than sitting there with Paint Shop and using the background eraser and then go, oh geez, that background was similar to the skin tone, and it's lost a bunch of the image. Or in black and white, you'll lose a lot of the image. So we're happy with that. We can come to My Gallery, which is the two white lines over there on the bottom left. And we come down and find a background for it. Now, yeah, the original background's got that white and the brown in it, so sometimes it is better to stick with that. So, I mean, sometimes you can go completely different. It's a preference. Ugh, yeah, it's gross. It's hard to know what it's going to look like until you put that image on that background. So yeah, no, it's washed out, it's horrible. That grey tone maybe would be a good one to go with. It's more dominant on the side of the image. What happens if we... Let's have a play. Snap you into there. Kind of works. Maybe. Might work really well once we get the vintage shadow on it. So just come through. Find that image. Yeah, I think we're going to go back to that that whitish grey. Oh, that one works well. I'll use that one. Through and put that there. We can crop that. There we go. Before, after. Okay. So we'll use that one. So we'll apply that. It is saved. From there, I'm just going to go into Pixay Pro and add my vintage shadow. Get picture from the gallery. This one will save it to a folder called Lumi, so we'll go down and find that folder. We can see our resolution here. If you do Pixay Pro, we'll come into effects. This one's a fast one today, so hopefully you're moving along with that. Beautiful. And that sort of just blends the image together. So that's quick and easy, and we are done. We will save that. Save it to Pixay Pro. I'm going to go back into IBS Paint, and we're going to do those quick hair flicks. So going into IBS Paint, we'll go into Gallery, we'll go to the Import, and Pixay Pro, which is the last app we ran. Okay, we have our image open. We're going to come in and just do a couple of hair ticks. So what we'll do is we'll select our color, go to a nice small size, bring it to a medium opacity, and that's too big, and so maybe try 1.4 and too thick. So there we go. And we're just gonna flick in some hair flicks. And that's gonna, we had a lot of like flyaway hair, so I'm going to put that back in, and that's going to just help make it look like that background was there in the first place. Okay, come through, just pull different colors of hair. It's a combination hair. Mouse brown blonde, come through, just little ticks. Go a bit smaller there, a bit smaller, tiny bit darker. Just come through, just flick a couple of areas. That's very faint, very flicky, and we can do that. You can do that over the top, where you just keep layering it up in that same area if you need to, and just give it a big bit of hair cluster. Just come through. Follow our image, just like that. Around. Some nice little hair flicks. Very faint. Someone's not looking for it, they might not even notice it, to be honest, but it makes that difference. It just helps blend that image together with that background and help destroy that cut and paste look. So you can also soften images, so you can soften a sharp image so it blends in better with the background. Just go through a bunch of clustering ticks. I'll do some hard ones over top here, okay, which will help just get rid of that bright white, so it gives that more defined hair look there. Pull it into the dark. Okay. bring it through there. Easy. Come through and do some ticks off of that. Maybe a bit dark. Slightly lighter tone and just wheel. Put a whole bunch over top of that. There we go. Okay. That's it. Our image is done. Back to my gallery. We will save that as a JPEG. We'll open up the gallery. We'll find our image that is saved, which I think is another different type of pictures folder. Should be it there. Come in, look for those hair ticks. There we go. That's our image. You can see those ever so slight little hair ticks coming around the edge there. Just brings that image together. Okay. Okay. That's it. So nice, quick, easy one. You can go in and you can readjust the brightness and contrast from here. You can take out color if you need to. So if you find it's got too much color, the final image is always easier to work with. These are quick tutorials. You can go far more in depth and work on the photo a lot more from where I leave you guys off. So of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. So where are we? There we go, down there in the corner. You can see there's a little like and subscribe coming up. So like, subscribe to my channel, and get the bell on so you can watch other restorations. And hopefully in each one of them we'll have something a little bit different, a little bit more. And yeah, you're going to learn a little bit more as we go. So I will see you guys in the next one.